Let's go here and do some NFL football. And Aaron Glenn, the new Jets head coach, and played for the Jets, was with the Lions, who had a resurgence with him as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Is at the helm with the Jets. And the Jets, you know this. You played for the Jets.
Yeah.
And I was a Jets fan as a kid growing up in New York. I was.
You were a Jets fan?
Like a Jets fan.
Yeah.
The two teams, if I had to say, of course I love the Knicks. I was an Islanders fan. They won 4 Stanley Cups when I was in high school.
Oh, they did?
And I watched every game that was on television. I knew all the players, including the backup goaltender. Like that's how you know I want to be a sports writer. I'm watching hockey games, and I'm 16 years old.
Right. Wow.
And I still think that's the reason I got the job at the Detroit Free Press, because they were, Detroit being hockey town.
Yep.
So they're going to hire a columnist who happens to be black. They're going to need him to go to hockey games, right? You can't ignore the Red Wings.
100%, yeah.
So on that lunch that we had, I brought up that I knew the backup goaltender to that Islanders Stanley Cup team. And when I said Glenn Chico Resch, their jaws dropped. Because everybody knew Billy Smith, who was the big time, their main goalie.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knew him, but do you know the backup goaltender? How do you know the backup goaltender? But anyway, I got off on a tangent.
The Jets.
The Jets.
Yep.
So I grew up as a Jets fan, and I used to work at a shoe store. At the Queen Center Mall.
You were Al Bundy before Al Bundy was
That's right.
Al Bundy. Okay,
I was the black Al Bundy.
Gotcha. Cool.
And I worked at Stride Rider Kids Store. And the one thing I did learn, when you're measuring a kid's foot, and you put them in that apparatus to get the measurement, you always got to make sure you move your hand. Because all kids, when they look down at the sizer, they drool on your hand. You don't know how many times.
What?
I'm not even kidding you. It's the weirdest thing.
Wait, how old are these kids?
Because they're little kids. It's a kid's shoe store.
Yeah.
And they would tilt their mouth to look down, and drool would come onto my hand. And I was like, okay, I will not put my
How many
hand
times did you do that before you found out?
It was about 3 or 4, and then I was like, okay, I got it. All right, anyway, but I was that, and the Jets, you know this, haven't won anything since Moby Dick was a guppy.
Oh,
it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
1969 was a great. Joe Namath, we got all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we go. Aaron Glenn was talked recently and was all in. Justin Fields, he's that guy. He's going to be my quarterback and this and that. A lot of people have said around NFL America the Jets have punted on the quarterback. There were other quarterbacks available. They could have made a run for some other people, and they decided to move on and get Justin Fields. And a lot of people looked at it as punting, that they're going to just have him play a year and figure out, or maybe draft one, or, figure out what happens.
Right.
And maybe they'll get one.
Yeah.
But you're not in that camp. You really believe in Justin Fields. What is it that you love about Justin Fields, and what have you seen to make you believe he's going to be a good quarterback in this league?
Yeah, his last year in Chicago, he didn't play. The team didn't play well early on in that last season. Down the stretch of his last season in Chicago, looked like he can play, and not extending plays and throwing the ball all over the field, but actually making progression reads, sitting in the pocket, throwing the ball, and we already know he can run. And then cut to you go to Pittsburgh, and
remember they got him for nothing.
Yeah.
Like nobody this is the thing, Kerry. What are other people seeing? Like they thought, they're going to get something for him, right? A first round quarterback pick. And they got, what was it, a 6th round pick?
It was
4th round pick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was something like that, yeah.
It was surprising how little they got.
Yeah, I think when the narrative comes out about certain individuals and certain people in sports, people tend to think of that person as that, right? Until you get that person into your facility and see.
But that's bad on their part.
Who's? Chicago?
The people who are following a narrative. If I'm a scout
100%.
and this guy really can play, I don't care what people are saying. I can look at, I'm just saying from the scouting standpoint, that's ridiculous.
It's just it's lazy. It's not even bad. It's lazy, right? Like you get these takes on people, or you get these outcomes that a person has had at one situation, and you label them as that person. That is lazy. But when you get a chance to get a guy like that in with something to prove, you see what he did in Pittsburgh. He started out 4-2 with that team, and I thought, and I was on record saying he should have been a starter the whole year. That's how good I thought he could have been in that situation.
His numbers weren't good, though.
That's because of Arthur Smith, though. That wasn't because of him.
Okay.
The brand of football that they were playing in the beginning of the year was He's not going to make any mistakes. Our defense is going to win us the games, and that's kind of where they fail. First read, if he's not there, you're running the ball or throwing the ball away. You could tell he was programmed that way. When Russell Wilson came in and took over the reins, it was pretty much the same thing, except
he was throwing the ball downfield.
I was just about to say, except that.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that offense came alive.
Yep.
They were scoring 35, 41 points. You were like, what? Now, you got to admit, I just haven't seen enough of Justin Fields throw the ball consistently. And you might be right. It might be just
telling you,
that they don't buy into him.
Yeah.
And we know, but I'm not convinced. I'm not like everybody's wrong.
Rob, I'm telling you.
Everybody, like you would say, well, he's had 3 offensive coordinators.
Sure.
Okay, so that nobody knew what to do with this kid. Mm-hmm. This wasn't like a kid who fell off of a turnip truck. He was a highly touted quarterback.
Well, you got to have somebody that believes in your skill set, Rob. Rob, this guy has a skill set that's similar to a Cam Newton, in my opinion. Right? Cam Newton was never super accurate. He can make throws, he can run the ball, and everything was predicated around him. If you give this kid an opportunity like that, which I'm sure the Jets will, because they have so many other weapons on offense, they do. And so if they're able to spread it around and let him be him, which they're going to have to do, they don't have any other option, I think we'll see. I really believe in what he can bring to the table. If
he doesn't play well, say,
yeah,
what will that mean? Like if this will be 3 teams.
This will be it.
Right?
As for a chance to be a starter, yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Like he's reached that point.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. This is the last stop.
Yeah.
And you got a coach that believes in you, and it seems like Aaron Glenn really does believe in him.
And that's what he said. So if he does that and they struggle, they lose, or didn't play well, then people are going to go, okay, so that wasn't the case.
And I'll be that way too. But
no, I get
you know
it.
what I mean? But right now, I believe in what
I'm
he can
asking
do,
you because you are watching and you
–
I just haven't seen it. I've watched them even when I looked at the stats.
Yep.
Even when they were 4-2, they were very low in all the passing stats, like dead last next to the.
Yep.
Like there wasn't, and maybe it's by, like you say, by design, because they didn't want them to turn the ball over, and they were trying to play too safe football.
Yep.
But the whole idea, and before that in Chicago, it was a turnover machine.
It was turnovers, but he had a terrible offensive line too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's running around for his life, and that's the thing. So we see these young quarterbacks that are put in these situations. They're not going to succeed. Most of them. You see, it's rare when a rookie comes in and plays.
So are the Jets going to be over 500 or not in the first year?
I ain't saying all that.
Okay, all right.
I ain't going that far. But they're going to be better than last year. The record will be better. I'll put that on the record.
Yeah. You know what's crazy with the Jets, and you could tell them, the defense wasn't nearly as good.
Oh, the defense is overrated.
Am I right?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear it, but I still say, you look at some of those games, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes had almost identical stats.
Yes.
One was 15-2 and one was.
Exactly.
And if you look at the defense, there's at least, and you notice because you watched the game.
Yep.
4 games where they gave up, the other team had the ball on the last drive.
And they gave up points.
Am I right?
Yes.
And drove down. They didn't get a stop at any of those games.
I was on the record, Rob.
Am I right? Even the Patriots.
Talking about that defense.
Yeah, the defense was
overrated.
Was awful last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't run the ball like they had done in previous years either.
Yeah.
And it was really, and then the big turning point to me was the missed field goal in the Denver game. You remember?
Yes, I do remember.
They drove down, got in field goal, and he missed a field goal.
He missed a whole lot of kicks that year.
That was a big miss.
Yep.
Turn their season.
Turn it around. And you talk about, I mean, because I wanted them to bring back Aaron as well. So I was on the record saying that too. I mean, one more year, well, it wouldn't have hurt. You're bringing in Justin Fields now for 1 year, essentially. So why not?
Right.
So
what's the difference? Yeah. Right. And I get it. He's a big personality. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And
some coaches just don't want to deal with, those kind of personalities. But,
sure.
To me, if I'm a coach, I just want talent. And I just have to – my job as a coach is to work with people and try to get the best out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at Mike Tomlin, and I get it. Dude, he hasn't won a playoff game since, 2016?
Yeah. It's been 10 years, right? Yeah, 10 years.
Something like that, 29 season?
Yep.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Take a swing.
Yeah, you got to take a swing at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he is. All right.